wonderful world of strange movies, where we get to live vicariously through the characters who are very unlucky or very convenient. Today we'll be looking at and reviewing the movie The End. It's an Italian movie, and I haven't watched one of those in a very long time, so this should be entertaining. We start off with a man who's obviously very full of himself because he makes a lot of money. His name is Claudio. A new driver picks him up and is one of the most annoying people I have ever met. There is nothing more uncomfortable than a person who works for you begging you for handouts to help them. I like how they set this up to make it look like the rich dude is a bad person, but I can guarantee you that person did not go around asking people to help them because they were going to school for economics. The guy's trying to enjoy his morning and this little kid is badgering him about this. Meanwhile, they see that there's a lot of traffic more than usual. This kid is obviously new because he puts on the radio without asking the person he's driving if he'd like the radio on. This is a designated driver. From what I know, you're getting paid a lot of money. It's all about the person's comfort. You usually ask them, is it okay if I can put on the radio? Or, do you mind if I put on the radio, sir? But this person is obviously very young and immature and can't read the room. Claudio finally makes it to his building. You can tell he already has a busy schedule as he meets the new intern. While he's talking to her, his eye catches someone else, which is like, dude, really? He doesn't even try to hide it. I mean, I guess he figures he doesn't have to, right? He's Claudio. He takes the elevator with this woman who we find out he's been having a fling with. By the way, he's married. She decides to cut it off because she's getting married, which means that while she was in a relationship or affianced, she was having a relationship with this guy. But now that she's getting married tomorrow, you know, everything's important on the day and the day before. It doesn't matter that we had a fling like the day before, but since I'm getting married immediately tomorrow, we gotta just stop everything like it never happened. Of course, he doesn't take her seriously, and he's like, I've been married 5 years and I didn't give up. I always wonder in those cases, why are you married? There's some people who'd love the single life, like why even bother? The girl plays along with him when he forces her against the elevator, thinking that she'll just give in. She gives him those Barbie dough eyes and reaches her hand down to his cling, and then she gives it an excruciating squeeze. He soon learns that maybe it's not a good idea to be so forward with someone who said no multiple times, although that seems to turn him on more. During this time, he starts to hear little trickles of news from his people, his secretary, his wife, whoever, that there's been some attacks. Also most likely linked to why there was so much traffic in the morning. While all of this is happening, he gets stuck on the elevator, which if you haven't guessed by now, this is where most of the movie is going to take place. I'm serious, like 98% of the movie takes place here in the elevator. Claudio tries yelling out to people through the elevator intercom, and while he's in the elevator, to help. He also hears people walking back and forth through the walls, and he's just frustrated, understandably. Going insane, he decides to claw open the elevator doors to try and see if he can get himself out, because nobody is of any help. Honestly, the guy on the intercom and the banter that they have back and forth is kind of hilarious. I feel like I'm watching a freaking Japanese anime. Then he's like, you know what? Screw this. Let me open the doors. I can't take it in here anymore. And that's exactly what he does. While he gets the doors open, they get stuck. He can't get them open any more than this. He figures that the doors are caught on something, but he has no idea what it is, and he's going insane getting stuck in there. Not to mention, he has a very important meeting that he has to get to that he's now going to be late to. And it's with a very important client. Things are just not going well for this person. The whole time when people do this, I keep thinking about Final Destination. If you were stuck, unless it's a life and death situation, please do not do that. The elevator can become dislodged and slice your body in half like a guillotine. I think they did such a great job of utilizing suspense in this movie because the entire time he's on the phone with his wife, I'm there thinking, stop putting your freaking back to the door. We don't know what's going on here. He had just been on the phone only minutes ago with the elevator guys. He got the phone number or cell number to one of the workers and he heard something. We know something bad's happening because the men are screaming on the other end and get cut off when they see something or someone. Now Claudio's wife is calling and saying that somebody is knocking on her door and they sound angry. She called out to them and they would not tell her what they wanted. This is not looking good and she's frightened. But he's stuck in the elevator so he can't do anything about it. He tells her, hey look, god damn it, woman, just lock yourself in the frickin' room and just stay there and I'll call Stefano, my friend or whomever it is, to go over and help you out. He treats his wife more like she's a nuisance than anything. While he's sitting there in the elevator, not like he can open the doors any wider, he decides to go through the news and he's saying on his news feed exactly what a lot of other people are talking about. Strange attacks by people, blocked roads, traffic, just weird stuff happening in Rome. And that's when something crazy happens. While the doors are open, he can hear people screaming. And at first, he's overjoyed because he's like, yes, people are gonna help me, but it doesn't sound as though they're very happy. It sounds as though something's wrong.
Che cazzo succede?
This is where things get really crazy, because the girl he previously had an affair with drops and looks terribly frightened, like really frightened. She looks haunted. Claudio can't understand what's going on, and she wants to get in the elevator with him, even though she knows that he's stuck. Then we see her being grabbed away, but we don't know what's grabbing her. Guess she's not getting married tomorrow. Oh well, by now Claudio realizes that something is definitely wrong. People running, people screaming, people he knows being pulled away, and God knows what is happening. Yeah, this doesn't look too good. Now he starts really getting scared. He wants to see what is happening. Who is attacking the people in the office? Who is doing this? He doesn't hear any gunshots. He doesn't hear any other noises, just people running and screaming, but he can't see what is causing it or what's chasing them. So despite being fearful, he decides to go out and take a look-see. And it's zombies. Or as they're called in this universe, the infected, like they're called in every other universe. Of course, he's never seen anything like this and he's terrified. It doesn't take long before they hear somebody screaming in the distance and those infected, crazed people go towards the sound of the person crying for help. At this moment, Claudio is calling everybody he was previously on the phone with, crying and freaking out. He tells Stefano, the guy who's supposed to be heading towards his wife's house, or their house, what is happening, and the guy is like, oh, Mr. Verano, Claudio, just calm down. It's all good, fam. You're good. Guessing that guy is not very calm either. He calls the guy on the intercom. That guy gets attacked too through the phone. Every now and then, when Claudio tries to stick his head through the door, these zombies try to get at him. Luckily, he's stuck in that elevator. He decides to use one of the rail guards inside the elevator that people used to hang on to when they feel like shitting themselves to impale the infected woman. It works, and now she's really dead. Claudio is not feeling very well because this is the first time he thinks he's killed someone. Then Sylvia, the intern, walks by. She tries to help get him out, but she can't. She even tries to come in with him. It's funny how he's stuck in the elevator wanting to come out, but everybody who passes by him is fighting to get in. I just found that so hilarious. Unfortunately, it's too tight of a fit. She ends up going away, and Claudio is ambushed by, But it's okay because Sylvia comes back and uses a golf club and takes that thing's head in. But as she has to do, like every movie maiden, she stands there like an idiot, talking to him, and gets ambushed by other infected people and gets eaten to death. No matter what Claudio does, he just feels so in despair. He calls his wife. She tells him that the person came inside. He tells her to barricade herself, and then she says, what do I do now? And he's crying and freaking out because he says he doesn't know. He doesn't know what else to do. He can't help her. And this is very sad because he feels helpless knowing his wife is depending on him and there's nothing he can do about it. Then something horrible happens. He sits on the phone as he hears her screaming when the thing breaks the barricade and comes into her room or wherever she's walled up. That face that he made was actually very good. I know, it sucks saying that when he's like, that poor thing. But aside from it being a very sad moment, these are actually decent actors, and that helps make it easier to stomach. The movie does a very great job of build-up and suspense, and the feeling of helplessness and portraying that. At this point, it seems as though Claudio's just about given up. If he lost his wife, who he thinks he really cares about, what else is there? Claudio's been coughing, and we don't know why. You kind of assume that he's infected too, but trust me, he's not. By the end of the movie, the coughing means nothing. Maybe his throat's dry or something, that's about it. He sees another person at the door who also tries to get inside the elevator with him and is chased off by the infected.
Apri le porte che entro. Aiutami ad aprirle. T'ho già detto che sono bravo.
Poor thing. It just breaks my heart seeing him trying to get in there. They don't give a damn that he's stuck. They're like, get me in there with you. It's like that scene from The Lion King. As that guy is chased off, Claudio doesn't even feel anything anymore. He just sits there waiting for probably some kind of epiphany. I swear to you, I did not edit that. That's exactly the sound that they used. They used the Vine sound as a jump scare, and it just does not work. I don't even understand why. Did they go on my instance to go get that? Because that's awkward. Why did they use the Instagram FUD for this? I know they're free to use, but it's just so weird, and in my opinion, in poor taste when movies do this. Like, I can't take them seriously. Look at the scene again and tell me if this is legitimately scary to you guys. It doesn't even fit with the rest of the sound mixing. Like, I don't even, that was so bad. That was horrible. Horrible. And it's not the last time they use it. They keep using it. Okay, then the movie starts to get really repetitive around this part because another person comes up. It's his secretary, Sarah, and she gets eaten too. Then the poor guy starts going nuts because he's like, no, everybody who I want to save, even though I try to make up noise and distract the zombie things, they still get killed. What a shame. This is such a burden.
Such a burden. Such a curse.
He tries to have one more smoke, but for some reason, his lighter is failing. Suddenly, all of the zombies are blown away. Enter the most likable character of this entire movie, Marcello. The shotgun and pistol, the pistol he gives to his new friend Claudio, he says, look, we're gonna help you get out of there. You've gotta guide me up to wherever and tell me how to get that generator going. He gives Claudio the walkie and the gun, and he heads up there. And Claudio's so annoying because there's several times Marcello asks him for radio silence. And this dude apparently has no idea what that means, nor does he respect the need for the walkie-talkie to be quiet when someone is trying to navigate an area where they know zombies are. For some reason, he doesn't get the concept of shutting the hell up.
Che vuol dire? Stare zitto, Claudio. Va bene, scusa.
So he tells him there to be quiet, right? They literally show you seconds after he can't be quiet. He just said to him that these zombie things are about, the infected are about. He just seen them or he could hear them walking or whatever. So he tells his new friend, just be quiet.
Marcello, ci sei?
Oh my fucking god. I'm sure if Marcello could hit you upside the back of your head, he would right now. You can literally get him killed. You've told other people who have come to the elevator before that if they come there and they make up a lot of noise, those things would hear them and kill you. Or kill them. Why is it so freaking hard for you to follow freaking directions when your life literally depends on it? Thank you. While Marcello's up there, this guy gets attacked and he decides to shoot the pistol with his eyes closed. Please, do not shoot something with your eyes closed. That is stupid, especially inside an elevator where the bullet can ricochet, which it does, and lucky guy does not hit him. After not hearing anything from Marcello for a while, the guy is like, you know what? Let me just sit down here, look at my wife, because I might not ever see her again. Look how hot his wife is. While he's lying down in despair, he hears some people and some gunshots. He's probably gonna be saved. It's not Marcello, it's some other people. I'm sorry. How did that man fly back? What the hell? Shoot this guy in the chest. And then he gets pulled back by a like, no, the physics in this movie make no freaking sense. Does it have like an anti-gravity device in the bullets? It ends up, does it, some gyroscope? What the hell was that? Ayúdame. Nobody is coming to his rescue because everyone's fighting for their life. Okay, they freaking need to stop. That's not even an appropriate usage of the, God damn, that is annoying. I don't realize, like, I never even realized how bad it was until I kept hearing it. Why are you using it? Why are you using that sound effect? It's not applicable here. And this is not the last time they use it. Jesus Christ. We're all sad because we think that Marcello is dead. But no, it turns out that Marcello actually made it out alive. I am so happy. He comes down through the top of the elevator with Claudio's help and finishes off the zombies, that are at the elevator door. He also takes a look at the elevator door and sees exactly what's stopping it, as Claudio had pointed out earlier. We think everything is fine and that both of them are going to make it out of there just okay, until unfortunately we see that Marcello is actually hurt. He'd gotten bit by one of those things. And now he's sitting in the elevator with Claudio. He knows there's nothing he can do, and he talks about his wife and the thing they had done together. They were married 2 years and they're still happy. Claudio says that he's not a good person, meaning Claudio's not a good person. He's starting to feel guilt about betraying his wife, and he asks Marcello if he's ever done that. Marcello says no, which Claudio tells him in confirmation that makes Marcello a good person. Even though Marcello had quit smoking, since he was going to die anyway, he might as well enjoy a cigarette one last time, and he gives Claudio his lighter. Reason he carried that lighter on him is because you never know when you're going to need it, which is ironic because it happens that Claudio needed it for his cigarette. Marcello tells him, look, I don't want to become one of those things, so can you shoot me before that happens? 2 to the head, just to make sure I'm dead. Claudio really didn't want to do it, and Marcello had to kind of sort of smack him around to get him to be serious. This is life or death. And Marcello's sacrifice wouldn't have meant nothing if he ends up killing his newfound friend after he dies. Marcello ends up turning, and Claudio has to put him to sleep. The thing is, before Marcello had even come into the elevator or call out for Claudio to open it, Claudio had that pistol in his mouth, ready to end his life. If Marcello had not called out at that moment, our friend would not have a newfound vigor to want to get out of this elevator. Because guess what? His wife called from an anonymous number. She's alive. Claudio is overjoyed hearing his wife's voice on the phone. I know he's thinking, like, this is a completely different outcome than that movie The Mist, because I know he's probably thinking about the time he had the pistol in his mouth, about when he was going to end it, about Marcello coming in through the top of the elevator, saving his life, calling out at that moment right before he was about to end it all. And if he had done that, he would not have been able to answer the call his wife just made from whoever's phone this is to tell him that she was okay. This gives him hope and the motivation he needs to get out of there. Now all of a sudden he's Billy Badass. Puts on his blazer like a boss, gonna go save the wife, even though she's in good hands with those soldiers. Marcello had also mentioned that Marcello's wife was at a shelter with some other survivors, which is good news, because that means there's some place to go to ride this out. Must feel good being out that building. Claudio walks through the streets and picks up a liter of milk that he sees a dead woman holding. This is important because the last conversation, meaningful conversation he and his wife had that he felt guilty for because he was arguing with her about it, was when she simply asked him to pick up some milk. Now I can understand where he's coming from, because it sounds like she doesn't work. She's at home, and he mentioned that he's working very hard and he's gonna be putting in all these hours, and he has to go pick up milk, and she's home, she has a car, she can get it. Like, you know, I can kind of understand where he's coming from, because I'd be a little annoyed too. I'd be like, bitch, I am working freaking 11 hours, I'm the only one paying the bills, and you can't take the car while you're at home doing nothing after you spend 4 hours, keeping the house clean, to go pick up a fucking glass of milk. Okay, well, anyway, he decided to go do that, but I remember being pissed about it, and you never want your last memory of your loved one to be that of being angry with them. But the woman somehow miraculously comes back to life, like she's been lying there the whole time, and maybe she was just turned, because none of them just lie there for the sake of lying there. The zombified, infected woman grabs him, which freaks him out, because that shotgun he had earlier, he discovered that it had no shells inside of it. Doesn't know anything about firearms, so understandably, he wouldn't know what it feels like. But he doesn't have to worry about defending himself, except to use the milk as a weapon, because somebody shoots the thing in the head. Although it was standing there for a very long time, doing God knows what. Turns out, there are some snipers on the rooftops. They're still alive, holding down the fort. Hey guys, help me! Help me! Come down here! Risk your lives! Help me, please! No, nobody's coming to get you. Make your way to them, and they'll cover you. Doesn't make any sense to bring the sniper down there in the line of action where they're literally up there in a place of a good vantage point where they could shoot those things off and watch you as you make your way there, you know? But I'm guessing they'll send some other people to escort him back to their buildings. You can see the hope in his face and the joy knowing that he's not alone. And that's the adventure. That's the end. Or is it really the end? Such an interesting low-budget movie. Most of it, as I said, took place in an elevator, and there's been lots of those. And it takes a lot for you to make a movie that's actually interesting in one setting. And they did it pretty well. Didn't expect to like it, but the movie actually did a lot of things well, except using that stupid Instagram sound. They really could have done without that, but they utilized suspense very well in this movie. And the acting was actually not that bad. I would definitely check it out. It is on Tubi TV. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.